Scrattle's top 5 games of 2015. Best and worst. Number 5.
Alright, coming in at number 5 we have Rocket League. It was actually extremely close between Rocket League and Duck Game, and I honestly think I would give this one to Duck Game had I had more friends with the game. But seeing this is what I played the most and this is my personal list, it'll have to go out to Rocket League. They actually managed to make a sports game I thoroughly enjoy playing. Yeah, a sports game. And it enables you and your friends to have some fantastic gaming sessions. It's just one of those games that on its own is rather dull per se, but then again I absolutely despise sports games. But nevertheless it allows and enables you and your friends around you just to have a great deal of fun. But yeah, as I said, I do believe Duck Game beats it, but this is just what was more available to me and therefore it makes my personal top 5 list.
Number 4.
Fallout 4 as number 4. See how nicely that worked out? I almost promise you I didn't move it either up or down my list so it would hit number 4 just because I like saying Fallout 4 as number 4. Yeah, anyway, Fallout 4 is one of the few open world games that has actually managed to captivate me and therefore has made the list. I actually enjoy open world RPGs to a great extent, but I mean, I've had a great deal of trouble trying to find a title with these criteria that would actually captivate me. Fallout 4 managed to do just this. Though the combat is far from my usual taste, it is fairly fun and does actually vary due to the big selection of different weapons and opportunities you have to create new weapons and guns and, well, nuclear missile launches. It's cool. And furthermore, the building and customization aspect of the game, like around your settlements, it just gives the game huge points for me. But then again, like, I enjoy the heck out of Sims. Building is my jam, and this one combines it with an open world RPG where I can shoot nukes. I like it. I dig it. Good job, Fallout 4. At number 4. I did that, sorry.
Number 3.
Entering the top 3, we have Tales from the Borderlands taking the 3rd place. One might argue that this is more of a visual novel than an actual video game. One would be right, but nevertheless, I believe it falls within video games, and the story and humor it delivers is just so great in my opinion that it has made it to the top 3. Telltale manages to create extremely likable characters and depicts them in such a humorous fashion you can but love them. I gotta admit that there were even times during the game where I thought about siding with the bad guy just because he is so damn likable, humorous, and cool. I may have played it through one more time after the playthrough you've seen on this YouTube channel just to side with Handsome Jack. But I mean, I would of course not admit to being a bad guy, because who does that? But hey, it's cool. All in all, this game just managed to have me laughing, shedding a tear, and thinking about it more than all but 2 games this year. So yeah, a 3rd place for Tales from the Borderlands.
Number 2.
Oh, this game. Oh gosh. I don't even know where to start. Undertale, that's the title. Yep, that would be a good start. Alright, yeah, you know, okay. Undertale is that kid in your school classroom that looks dumb, acts dumb, but is actually a fucking genius. He's like that guy everyone think they can play around with and just control, but he's actually controlling you. I know this is an extremely vague and very weird explanation, but it is the best I can do without spoiling the actual game. Undertale does this extremely weird thing where it just completely brings down your expectations of the game. You figure like, oh, I'm just gonna run through some linear regular story, but then it completely turns it around, and it turns out it's actually been playing so many tricks on you, it completely baffles you. Again, I can't explain it better. I'm simply not good enough with words to explain it without giving away the story, but I promise you, Undertale will not disappoint you. Be wary of your actions, I will give you that much. You might end up regretting them, even though you erased them. Huh? Sounds weird, I know. Like an extremely ambiguous game, and it does very, very well.
Number 1.
Ah, yes. This is the game I have been waiting for since I first played. You know what? This is the game I've just been waiting for. It's a Disney movie of games for me. It's colorful? Yeah, colors. I am sick and tired of all the gray and black apocalypse. Oh boo, everything is so sad and everything is destroyed, my life is sad kind of games. This game actually delivers a completely astonishing experience aesthetic-wise. It especially contrasts because literally every other title is so grey and dull to look at. Just the intro of this game completely blew me away. It is rare to find a game that immerses the player as much as this game does, but the colors are just so damn vivid. They just create a living world. You can but feel it spread out through the monitor, isolate the dreadful real world outside. Blah. Gone it is, because the colors in this game are absolutely amazing. Good job. As for any video game, I do believe that at least 75% of the experience in front of a monitor, be it of any kind, movies or video games, is audio. Audio. The soundtrack of a game is alpha and omega, and Ori and the Blind Forest far from disappoints when it comes to the soundtrack. Now, I use a fairly good pair of headphones when playing through video games because I treasure audio so damn much, and it just plays a huge part in immersion. And this is just one of the few games I've played of the entire year that truly utilizes this. Since there is no actual dialogue in the game, well, there is, but it's like, ooh, it's very missed. There's no actual dialogue, let's just go by that, because no one speaks whale, except for Dory. I'm getting sidetracked. Everything in this game is made up in music, just like a good old Disney movie. Remember Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse running around? They didn't actually say much or anything at all, but the music would kinda take you through the emotions. So, yeah, it's just like a good old Disney movie, and it does it so very well. I cannot stress out how important good audio is for a video game, and the soundtrack from this game was more than brilliant enough for me to listen to it daily, months after having played the actual game. Last but not least, actual gameplay is interesting and funny. A platformer that feels different and extremely responsive. One of the few platformers where I feel the control I usually only feel in first-person shooter games. It feels so intuitive to control your character and moving around even when the game gets difficult, and that is just a fantastic feeling I've been missing in many platformers, especially over-the-shoulder platformers. Finally, I feel like I'm dying because I lack the motor control skill to succeed, instead of feeling like you die because the connection from keyboard to screen translates so terribly it ruins the experience. To relate this, having played Alice Madness Returns, you would often fall off an edge because you just wanted to go closer to it, but clicking something on the keyboard does something it did what you wanted to do, it just did it far less than you would like it to. Here it translates perfectly, and you feel like when you click, it does what you wanted to happen when you clicked it. Does that make sense? Not at all good. I'm just saying that there's nothing worse than being very, very aware that you're using a keyboard and mouse or a controller, if like you're one of those people, to navigate through a game. This game is just so damn responsive, you can focus entirely on your character moving through an extremely emotional and immersive story, and that's what does it for me. you're a character jumping around the world, alright? You're not a guy controlling, like pressing buttons and then shit happens on a screen. You want to get dragged into the world, and it does it fantastic. Well done. Yeah, video games to me is just all about getting lost in a world far prettier and far more interesting than our dull day jobs and school books, and this game is just what did it for me. I highly suggest that you pick up the game, and if you can't afford it, go watch ScrattleGG play the game. It is extremely good. There is of course also a Let's Play, as with every other title, maybe except Rocket League on this channel, but my narrative skills are just not good enough to actually justify this game, but suit yourself, there's a Let's Play of it on this channel, if that's what you're looking for.
Number 3.
I know. This game didn't come out in 2015, but they changed the game so damn much through 2015, it feels like a completely new game. If you don't think it belongs on a 2015 list, then that's up to you, but hey, this is my personal list, so here it goes. I used to enjoy League of Legends because it was a fun, competitive game that greatly rewarded individual skill despite the god-awful community and how the community is handled. Now though, the game has been gravely changed, and not for the better. The games are extremely short and one-sided. Individual skill matters very little in the game, and matchups are again extremely one-sided. There are far more champions that needs to be banned for the game to even be enjoyable and somewhat fair. And you need very certain things, as well as the amount of criteria that has to be met just for the game to be okay are just so damn high right now, especially if you play solo queue where communication is, well, yeah. The game still works somewhat for 5 vs 5 and so on and so forth, but as soon as you try and enter the game with random people, there's just too far in between games that actually feel good and enjoyable and fair for the game to actually be enjoyable. It is far from the first time I've heard people stop playing League of Legends because it causes actual anger issues, and I can see why. It is extremely frustrating to have had a great video game with high potential, but the community is what's stopping it, and Riot have now made communication before the game even starts so damn important. Like, so damn important for the game. The game is just an absolute mess now. You need to communicate too much before the game even starts for the actual game to even be good. It's just not worth sitting through 10 games of people calling you a gay-ass faggot who needs to die and wishes your mother would die and get raped just to have 25 minutes of enjoyable game. It is literally 5 hours you have to sit there for one game where you think, huh, this was good. So, League of Legends, I bid you adieu. I don't know if that actually means goodbye, but goodbye, League.
Number 2.
Life is strange. Life sucks with this video game. I don't even know where to start. But I'll make it short since this game offered me so little for so much time. A very dull soundtrack, repetitive, tedious gameplay that was forced in there just for the hell of it. But worked like ass, to be frank. And felt so poorly designed. It certainly did have its fun twist and humorous occasions and extremely talented, surprisingly, actors in between, but the writing was just so damn cringe, combined with extremely odd dialogue choices and delivery of lines. It just completely ruined the experience for me. I'm usually all about the drama high school hipster like, oh my god, Jessica bullshit, but this game just delivered it in such a cringe way with forced relationships, a poor soundtrack and buggy graphics. It was impossible to get immersed to the game for more than 5 minutes before something completely ruined the illusion for you. Yeah.
Number 1.
Hearthstone. Oh gosh, yes. Well, this so-called card game just manages to do almost everything wrong with what I enjoy with a card game. Having come from a great game, such as Magic the Gathering, it is extremely hard to get into a game based almost pure, like solely on luck. This game is designed to beat down your patience and have you give in to microtransactions. Oh, but Stefan, you can play the card of the game and then you get all the cards just by playing it. Yeah, right, asshat. It takes far too long and is done in the most tedious way possible. Beat down your patience until you give in to microtransactions. The soundtrack is appealing though. I actually thoroughly really enjoyed that. I find myself enjoying the audio and scenery more than the actual card game. So you might argue that it's good. It has the good audio and scenery, but it's sad that it's actually better than the actual game. Now I've realized that this game works as a game where you have to give it a 5-second look every now and then, and some might argue that it was designed as a game just to have in the background. You wouldn't need to give it much thought or attention. Personally, I don't believe this to be true. I think they did it just like they did with all the other games, World of Warcraft. They made it extremely simple, so it would cater to a younger audience with their parents' credit card and ADHD like attention spans and patiences. That's a long word. Patiences. So they'd give in to the microtransactions. I'm sorry, but I believe that when you do something, do that thing. When you work, do work. If you want to play a card game, play a bloody card game. I don't think the world needs something that allows you to do everything 20%. If you want to play a card game, play Magic the Gathering. If you want Exploding Kittens, whatever you want to play. If you want to actually play a game, play Super Smash. If you want to actually sit at a lecture, sit at the bloody lecture. My point is, if you need something to waste time on whilst doing something dull or, well, something you might actually have to do. If you want to do something wrong, do it right. Play a real game.
Violence.